Did you know that many exercises which seem harmless are in fact wreaking havoc on your knees, leading to pain, inflammation, and even damage over the long term? If you're over 60 and still performing certain high-impact workouts, you might be unknowingly speeding yourself toward knee replacement surgery. Yes, it's that serious. Your knees aren't the same as they were decades ago. Cartilage thins out, joints become stiffer, and recovery lasts longer. But here's the scary part. Some common exercises that seniors still perform are actually speeding up knee deterioration. If you want to safeguard your mobility and remain independent for years ahead, you need to cease these 6 exercises right away before they permanently damage your knees. 1. Deep squats. A fast track to deep squats. A fast track to knee surgery. Knee surgery deep squats might appear like a great method to build leg strength, but for seniors, they represent one of the most destructive actions for aging knees. When you drop yourself into a deep squat, your knees bend past their natural comfort range, compelling the cartilage and ligaments to extend under intense pressure. At a younger age, your body could manage this strain. Your cartilage was thick, resilient, and able to absorb shock. But as you age, that cushion between your bones turns thinner and weaker. Each deep squat wears away what little protection remains, pushing your knees nearer to painful bone-on-bone contact. Many seniors fail to recognize the danger until it's too late. At first, the discomfort seems mild, perhaps a slight ache following exercise or stiffness when rising from a chair. But over time, this damage builds up. The cartilage, already eroded from decades of use, starts to crack and fray. The soft tissues around the joint grow inflamed, causing sharp pain with every step. And then one day, something changes. A sudden pop, a sharp jolt of pain, and you discover yourself unable to stand without agony. What appeared like a simple exercise has now become a serious medical problem, one that might require surgery or even a knee replacement. The worst part? Knee injuries from deep squats don't recover the way they once did. Your body's capacity to repair cartilage decreases with age. Once that cushioning disappears, it doesn't regenerate. Instead, you're left with chronic inflammation, stiffness, and a heightened risk of arthritis. Some seniors keep pushing through the pain, thinking it's just a normal aspect of aging. But pain is never normal. It's your body's method of alerting you that something is wrong, that something is deteriorating. Ignore it, and you may soon confront the reality of reduced mobility, endless doctor appointments, and a long recovery process that may never completely restore your independence. Knee damage doesn't occur overnight, and that's what makes it so dangerous. The destruction happens gradually, almost imperceptible at first, but every time you push your knees into deep flexion, you hasten the process. And once the damage is complete, there is no reversing it. The question is, how much longer can your knees endure it before they fail entirely? If you think deep squats are bad, wait until you hear about the next exercise that's been quietly ruining seniors' knees for years. Keep listening because this one might surprise you. 2. Running on hard. Running on hard surfaces, the silent killer of joints. Surfaces, the silent killer of joints. Running has long been hailed as one of the best exercises for maintaining fitness. But for seniors, it can be one of the most harmful things you do to your knees, particularly if you're pounding the pavement or running on other hard surfaces. Every single step you take transmits a powerful shockwave up your legs, hitting your knees with force that can reach up to 5 times your body weight. When you were younger, your joints could handle this impact more effectively. Your cartilage was thicker, more elastic, and capable of rebounding. But with age, that resilience diminishes. The cartilage that once cushioned your knees has thinned, and instead of absorbing the impact, your joints now bear the full force of every step. At first, the signs are subtle. A little stiffness in the morning, a dull ache after a long walk, a slight discomfort when ascending or descending stairs. These are warnings, your body's way of indicating that your knees are under excessive stress, but many seniors disregard these signals, pushing through the pain, believing it's merely a part of growing older. The truth is, it's not just aging, it's damage. Running on unforgiving surfaces hastens joint deterioration, stripping away the final layers of cartilage protecting your bones. And once that cartilage is gone, it's gone forever. What follows is a painful reality. Chronic inflammation, swelling, and the agonizing grind of bone rubbing against bone with every movement. Some runners don't grasp the extent of the harm until one day their knee simply fails. A sudden, sharp pain, a loud pop, and the inability to bear weight on the leg. This is how meniscus tears, ligament damage, and severe osteoarthritis start. Recovery isn't as straightforward as rest and ice anymore. Instead, it results in months of physical therapy, injections, and in many cases, surgery. Even then, the knee may never feel the same again. The mobility you once took for granted now becomes a daily struggle, turning simple tasks like rising from a chair or climbing a small set of stairs into painful challenges. And the worst part, many seniors who suffer knee breakdown from running find themselves completely sidelined from the activities they once enjoyed. The freedom to take long walks, to play with their grandchildren, to stay independent, all gradually stripped away by the very exercise they believed was keeping them healthy. But running isn't the only hidden danger. There's another exercise that many seniors think is aiding their strength, but instead it's driving their knees to the breaking point. Listen carefully because the next one could be even worse. 3. High-impact jumping. High-impact jumping exercises, the silent destroyer of knees. Exercises, the silent destroyer of knees. Jumping exercises might seem like a great approach to preserve agility and strength, but for seniors, they are a silent destroyer of knee health. The very action of jumping, launching off the ground and landing with force, delivers an extreme amount of pressure through the knee joint. In your younger years, your body could manage this stress. Your tendons, ligaments, and cartilage were strong and flexible, able to absorb the shock. But as you age, your joints lose that elasticity. The cushioning in your knees grows thinner, your ligaments become less resilient, and your ability to recover from impact slows down significantly. Each jump inflicts a devastating blow to a joint that is already weakened by time. At first, it might not seem like a big deal. Maybe you feel a slight discomfort after a workout, a twinge of pain when you land a little too hard. You tell yourself it's normal, that it will fade. But that pain is more than just discomfort. It's a warning sign. Every time your feet strike the ground, the impact generates micro tears in the cartilage, tiny injuries that, over time, accumulate into something far more serious. These small tears don't heal the way they used to. Instead, they build up, wearing down the protective layer that prevents your bones from grinding against each other. The result? Chronic inflammation, stiffness, and pain that doesn't disappear. And then one wrong landing is all it takes. A moment of imbalance, a slightly off-center step, and suddenly, something shifts. A sharp, searing pain shoots through your knee, and you realize you can't stand without help. This is how ligament tears occur. This is how seniors end up with a torn meniscus, an ACL injury, or even a complete knee. Blowout, the recovery's long, difficult, and often incomplete. Months of physical therapy may assist, but the knee is never quite the same again. Many seniors who endure these injuries find themselves facing the one thing they feared most, a loss of mobility and independence. The worst part is that these injuries don't just impact your workouts, they affect your everyday life. Walking becomes painful, stairs feel impossible, even rising from a chair can be a struggle, and what was once a simple movement, something you never considered twice, now feels like an insurmountable challenge. But the dangers don't end here. There's another exercise that, while appearing safe, is actually imposing an enormous amount of strain on your knees. An exercise that could be quietly eroding your joints with every repetition. Keep listening because what you're about to hear next may surprise you. 4. Leg press with heavy weights. Leg press with heavy weights. The silent cartilage killer. The silent cartilage killer. The leg press machine may appear like a safe and controlled method to strengthen your legs, but for seniors, it can be one of the most deceptive and dangerous exercises for knee health. The very design of the machine fosters a false sense of security. You're seated, your back is supported, and all you have to do is push. But what most people don't realize is that the leg press imposes an enormous amount of strain on the knee joints, far beyond what they were meant to handle as they age. When you load heavy weights onto the machine and press them upward, your knees are compelled into an unnatural position, absorbing the full impact of the resistance. Over time, this repetitive stress inflicts irreversible damage, grinding away at the cartilage that safeguards your joints. At first, it doesn't feel like much. Maybe there's a little stiffness afterward, a slight ache that persists for a few hours, but those small warning signs are just the start. As you continue to push heavier weights, the pressure on your knee joints compresses the cartilage, squeezing out the essential fluids that keep it lubricated and flexible. Without this cushioning, your bones begin to press against each other with every repetition, resulting in chronic inflammation, swelling, and sharp pain that doesn't fade. Many seniors dismiss the discomfort as simple muscle soreness, but the truth is far more alarming. You are wearing down your knee joint with every press, accelerating the onset of arthritis and joint deterioration. Then comes the moment that changes everything. A sudden, sharp pain mid-rep, a feeling like something has torn deep inside the knee. You try to lower the weights, but your leg refuses to cooperate. You've just experienced a serious injury, perhaps a meniscus tear, ruptured ligament, or even a patellar fracture. Recovery is slow, often painful, and never quite the same. Even if you manage to heal, the damage has been done, and your knee will never regain its full strength or stability. The worst part? These injuries don't just remove your ability to exercise, they rob you of your independence. Climbing stairs becomes a struggle. Getting in and out of the car is an ordeal. Walking short distances feels like a marathon. What was once an effortless movement is now a painful reminder of a decision that should have been avoided. And yet, there is still one more exercise that seniors think is helping them remain strong, when in reality it is causing havoc on their knees with every single repetition. If you thought heavy leg presses were dangerous, just wait until you hear about this next one. It's an exercise most people never question, yet it could be guiding you straight to surgery. Keep listening, because what comes next is something you cannot afford to. Lunges, the knee ligament destroyer. Ignore 5 lunges. The knee ligament destroyer lunges are often suggested as a great way to develop strength and balance, but for seniors, they can be one of the most dangerous exercises for aging knees. At first glance, lunges appear simple. Just step forward, lower your body, and push back up. But what many don't realize is that lunges impose an extreme amount of strain on the knee joint, especially for older adults whose cartilage is already thinning. The deep bending motion compels the knee into a vulnerable position, stretching the ligaments and grinding away at what little cushion remains. At first, the discomfort might seem minor, maybe a little tightness, a dull ache that lingers after your workout. But those small signals are warnings. Every time you lunge, you're compelling your knees to bear an unnatural load, placing pressure on the meniscus and straining the surrounding ligaments. The front knee absorbs most of the impact, while the back knee is bent at an angle that can cause unnecessary stress on already fragile joints. Over time, this repeated movement results in chronic inflammation, swelling, and eventual cartilage breakdown. The protective tissue between your bones begins to erode. And once that happens, every step becomes a painful reminder of the damage that's been done. Then, one day, something goes wrong. A slight misstep, a lunge that goes just a little too deep, and suddenly a sharp pain shoots through your knee. You feel something shift inside, something that doesn't feel right. This is how ligament tears, meniscus damage, and even patellar dislocations occur. And once the damage is done, there's no turning back. Recovery is long, difficult, and often incomplete. Physical therapy may help, but in many cases, the knee never fully recovers. What was once a simple movement, walking across the room, standing up from a chair, now feels impossible. The worst part, many seniors don't even realize that their knee pain began with lunges. The damage occurs gradually, making it easy to ignore at first. But by the time the pain becomes unbearable, the joint is already compromised. Some push through the discomfort, thinking they just need to strengthen their legs. Others stop exercising altogether, fearing any movement will make things worse. Either way, the result is the same: a loss of mobility, independence, and quality of life. But here's the thing: lunges aren't the only everyday movement that could be slowly ruining your knees. In fact, there are habits and routines most seniors follow that unknowingly aggravate joint pain and hasten knee damage. Keep listening, because what you're about to hear next might be the key to saving your knees before it's too late. 6. Stair climbing with excessive. Stair climbing with excessive load, the hidden threat to aging knees. Load. the hidden threat to aging knees. Stair climbing has always been viewed as a functional, everyday movement, something we do without a second thought. But for seniors, climbing stairs while carrying heavy loads or repeatedly stressing the knees can be a silent threat, slowly eroding the joints and speeding up knee deterioration. While walking up and down the stairs may appear harmless, the mechanics of this movement impose tremendous strain on aging knees, especially when combined with extra weight in the hands, arms, or back. Every single step demands your knee to support more than double your body weight, compelling the joint to absorb repeated stress, often resulting in inflammation, stiffness, and long-term damage. At first, you might feel only a slight discomfort, a little soreness after carrying groceries up the stairs, or a brief tightness in your knees when descending. But these minor aches are signals. Over time, the pressure exerted on the knee joint during stair climbing begins to erode the cartilage, weakening the protective layer between the bones, the ligaments, and tendons that hold the knee together. Start to stretch beyond their capacity, creating small tears that, though unnoticeable at first, accumulate over the years. Eventually, the knees no longer have the resilience to recover. The pain becomes constant, and every step up or down starts to feel like a fun battle. Then one day something shifts. Maybe you misstep, maybe your knee gives out unexpectedly, or maybe it's just one stair too many. A sudden, sharp pain shoots through your joint, and before you can catch yourself, you find yourself reaching for a railing, hoping your knee doesn't completely collapse beneath you. This is how meniscus tears, ligament strains, and patellar injuries happen. The very activity that once seemed so natural has now become a risk, an obstacle that can no longer be ignored. Even more concerning, descending the stairs is often more damaging than climbing them. The downward motion compels the knee joint to absorb an incredible amount of impact, far more than it was designed to handle in later years. With every downward step, the knee struggles to stabilize itself, increasing the risk of sudden joint failure. Many seniors begin avoiding stairs altogether, fearing the sharp, burning pain that comes with each descent. The problem isn't just physical, it's emotional too. Losing the ability to climb stairs freely can feel like losing control over your independence, a slow realization that everyday life is becoming harder than it should. Some seniors believe that staying active will help keep their knees strong, pushing through the pain in hopes that it will eventually disappear. But the truth is, the more they ignore these warning signs, the more they set themselves up for long-term damage that may lead to the very thing they fear most: a life of restricted movement, endless doctor visits, and the looming possibility of knee replacement surgery. At this point, you've heard the warning signs. The exercises you once trusted, the movements you thought were keeping you healthy, may actually be guiding you toward irreversible knee damage. But what if you could alter course before it's too late? What if there were safer, smarter methods to remain strong without sacrificing your mobility? The choices you make today will decide whether you continue moving freely or face the painful reality of knee deterioration. The question is, what will you do next? What to do instead? Protecting your knees without sacrificing strength. Protecting your knees without sacrificing strength. Avoiding high-risk exercises doesn't mean abandoning strength, mobility, or fitness. It means training smarter, not harder. The key to maintaining your knee health while remaining active is selecting movements that develop strength without inflicting unnecessary wear and tear. Your knees have supported you through a lifetime of movement, and now they require your protection. Every decision you make about exercise today will determine whether you keep moving freely in the years ahead, or whether pain and joint deterioration steal that independence from you. The first step is realizing that low impact doesn't mean ineffective. In fact, the right low-impact exercises can be just as effective as their high-impact counterparts. Movements that emphasize controlled strength, stability, and joint support form the foundation of knee-friendly fitness. Exercises like swimming, cycling, and elliptical training maintain heart strength without pounding the joints. Strength training with lighter weights and higher repetitions develops muscle without overburdening the knees. Even something as straightforward as walking on soft surfaces instead of pavement can significantly lessen long-term joint strain. Flexibility and balance must also be prioritized. Tight muscles tug on the knee joint, heightening stress and diminishing mobility. Regular, gentle stretching, yoga, and Tai Chi assist in keeping the muscles around the knee flexible and strong, easing strain and avoiding stiffness. Balance exercises like standing on one leg or using a stability ball enhance joint stability, lowering the risk of falls and injuries that could result in permanent knee damage. But perhaps the most overlooked element of protecting the knees is paying attention to your body. Pain is not a sign of a good workout. It's a warning. It signifies something isn't right. The notion that you should push through the pain is outdated and dangerous, especially as you age. Discomfort is one thing, but sharp pain, swelling, or lingering soreness after exercise is a red flag. Disregarding these signals leads to long-term damage that could have been avoided. The goal isn't just to remain active, it's to remain active in a way that preserves your mobility for the years ahead. There's no point in forcing exercises that demolish your joints if they deprive you of the ability to move freely later in life. What truly matters is sustaining the strength to rise from a chair without difficulty, to walk without pain, to climb stairs with ease, and to keep pace with the moments in life that matter. Most, your knees are your foundation. Treat them with care and they will support you forward. Make the right choices today so you don't have to confront regret tomorrow. These lessons are intended to inspire you to live fully and authentically. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Take a moment to reflect and share one thing you've learned and plan to apply in your own life. Let's support each other on this journey toward embracing these truths. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment with 1. If not, feel free to comment with 0. Your feedback means a lot to us. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content like this. Thank you for watching, and here's to living life on your own terms.